67,000 litres of soup. That's what chefs with compassion are making today to celebrate the Mandela Day. Our reporter Michael Appel, he's at Melrose Arch, where the cookathon is taking place, updating us from the soup kitchen. Michael, hello. I half expected you to have a chef overall on, but in the absence of that and the hat, let's just remind viewers why 67,000 litres of soup. It has to do with 67 minutes, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And those 67,000 litres, hopefully, we're going to find out if the target was met just now, will go towards feeding over 260,000 people across South Africa. I was a bit of a fish out of water today, Gareth. As you know, I'd be able to stuff up a can of tuna, so I left it to the experts today to do what they do best, and it was Chefs with Compassion and SA Harvest that put this all together. Miles Kubheka is from SA Harvest. Miles, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
What does SA Harvest do, and how do you rescue food?
So SA Harvest is a non-profit organization. We rescue food. What that means is, you know, when you're solving for hunger, you quickly discover that food is not the problem. It's actually access to food. And what happens in that case, there's often places which have excess, in other words, too much food, but there's people who need the food who don't have access to it. So that's what we do. We find the excess and we give it and make it available to the people who need it.
So between 10 and 20 million South Africans go to bed hungry, and there's 100,000 tons of food that's wasted every year.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal number.
And then when you look at it globally, right, we've got enough food in this world to feed 10 billion people, and we only have 7.5 billion people. So that makes you think that we definitely have enough food. It's just it's not in the right places. Yeah.
Melrose Arch's little cookathon was able to produce 300 litres.
Yes.
It's going to go towards the overall target. Just how needed is this food? Not just in light of lockdown,
yes,
but there are so many South Africans that every single day go to bed hungry.
Right. One of the most amazing experiences or lessons I learned over the last essentially 3 months during the lockdown is that you realize that we're not feeding poor people. We're feeding poorly paid people. You know, those are the people who would have worked and gotten a day job and had enough money to feed themselves in the evening. But because of lockdown, they can't trade, they can't feed themselves. So there's now a new population that doesn't have access. So it's a big problem. And, you know, as we feed people, there's more people tomorrow. And as the economy is not doing so well, there's essentially going to be more and more people every day.
Miles, what is Food Rescue 101? South Africans watching this, how do you get them to stop wasting food or to distribute it if they've bought too much?
You know, it is the most important thing. And like until you've seen and you've gone into communities and you see kids waiting in queues going around the block, then you realize that, you know, when you've got food in the fridge, you need to either be very cognizant how you buy your food. You make sure that you eat what you put in your fridge. But secondly, be part of the solution. In realizing that there's a lot more people who are in need, how do you become part of the solution? You look up organizations such as ourselves. You know, because we are just an extension of all the communities out there. So look us up and let's see what we can do together.
Miles Kubheka from SA Harvest, thank you so much.
You.
Gareth, you'll see these drums behind me. That's what 300 litres of soup looks like. And there were over 300 chefs around the country that gave of their time and expertise. And hopefully that final target of 67,000 litres will be met. Gareth.
And I fully expect you to count each and every single litre of that, Michael Appel. Thank you very much indeed. 67,000 litres of soup for 67. A very significant number. To remind you why that's so important, you'll know 67 minutes for Nelson Mandela, all to do with the 67 years of his ability and his impact that he had when he was fighting for social justice over a period of 67 years. That's the significance of that number.